I'm back for another Kai Rants. In this Kai Rants, we're talking about a New York teenager who stabbed his father, his 5-year-old half-brother, and his half-brother's mother because he said he heard voices. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Love and Murder so you don't miss an episode. And if you want more Kai Rants or midweek rants as this is, then subscribe to my lamb Patreon, patreon.com/love and murder. You can do that through Patreon. You can do that through my Spreaker. The link is in the show notes below, or you can do that on our premium feed in Spotify. So let's get into this midweek rant. On November 26, 2023, police received a 911 call from a mother of a 19-year-old man named Jayden Rivera. He had shown up at her apartment with his shirt just soaked with blood. And he was just babbling just incoherently. Following what his mother had told them, police went over to his father's house. That's when they discovered his father, Jonathan Rivera, his girlfriend, Hanoi Peralta, and the couple's son, Jayden Rivera, all dead with multiple stab wounds in their apartment. Jonathan, who was 38, was laying in a pool of his own blood in a hallway with stab wounds to his chest. 33-year-old Hanoi and Jayden were in a bedroom with multiple stab wounds also to their torso area. Police found a small kitchen knife and a dented pot at the scene. Quote, "It appears that after they were stabbed, the victims were beaten with a pot to the point that it was dented." Damn! After the bodies were discovered, and based on how Jayden was reacting, and based on what his mother had told them, which was he said that he was, quote, hearing voices before all of this happened. And, quote, later on when he returned home, he stated to his mother again that he was hearing the voices and that he thought that Mr. Rivera and Miss Peralta were going to hurt him. Sorry if I'm saying that last name wrong. I don't know how to say that. During the investigation, it came out that he was supposed to be watching his little brother while his father and his girlfriend were out on a date. And then after that, nobody knows what happened. I just told you exactly. He went to his mom's house. He went back, whatever. And then around 2 a.m., a neighbor heard someone scream something in Spanish. And then he heard the screams of a man and a woman. So even though he was in a psychiatric ward, they did arrest him. He was arrested and he was charged with murder and manslaughter and criminal possession of a weapon. Police also came out to say that the little boy had been stabbed so much and so brutally that he was basically disemboweled. That's crazy. When this news came out, friends and family said they can't believe what was going on. Jonathan and his girlfriend had actually broken up a year ago, but they were in the midst of reconciling. Jayden was actually in school on a scholarship and doing really well in school. And everybody describes him as a really good kid. They can't believe this happened. Actually, his grandfather, Miguel Rivera, said, quote, I don't see never like a jealous thing in Jayden. I never seen Jayden take one side to the other one. No, never. Nobody takes a side. Last year, we were here for Thanksgiving and Jayden was here and he was playing. My heart is broken for my baby, my youngest grandson. The day they told me I was thinking this, it was like a movie or something. But no, now it's real. Jonathan also has two daughters who lives in Connecticut, and he was described by all as a really great dad. He had 2 jobs to support his family. He always spent time with his children. He didn't mess around. And everybody's just shocked that this happened. Nobody had seen this coming. Jayden wasn't jealous, like the grandfather said. Nobody saw this coming. So basically, to me, this is a real case of a mental health issue. Maybe he was just really stressed with school. Maybe people weren't paying attention to the signs before. Even if you take somebody to a doctor and say, hey, I'm hearing voices, hey, XYZ, most doctors will literally tell you anxiety. With my daughter, not that she has mental health problems, but with her physical health problems, you wouldn't believe how many doctors I've gone through. And then someone close to me does have a mental health problem, and you wouldn't believe how many doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists and everything that they've gone through. And for both physical and mental, oh my God, you have to find a diamond in the rough doctor or psychologist who's going to help you. I don't know I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on in the medical profession. And I don't mean this as disrespect to anybody who's in the medical profession, or my mom's in the medical profession. I don't mean this as disrespect. I'm just going by the experiences I've had and what I've seen with people with mental health. And I have seen a bunch of, just doing Kai Rants and everything, I've seen a bunch of reports of people with mental health and how it's not taken seriously and how they've either hurt somebody or hurt themselves or. And they've been to countless doctors trying to get help, and they just are not able to get help. And I can attest to that, just seeing it happen to people who are close to me. Not getting help, not being taken seriously. Like the police were arguing one time that this person was on drugs. And these people had to say, this person is not on drugs. They're literally like, they were having a psychotic episode. And the police wouldn't, like, I've been in this profession for years. I could tell you the sign of drugs. And the person was like, well, I know this person. They don't take drugs. They're hallucinating right now because they have a mental health issue. And it's like hospitals won't listen. Doctors won't listen. There's been times that this person that I'm talking about has been left to wander. Like, police won't touch them. Police won't let you touch them, because if you touch them, then you're going to jail for false imprisonment or some crap like that. I don't know. So the people won't come out of the hospital. They'll say, oh, they're making their own decision. They decided they can't be in here. And you're just like, they're not in their right mind. How can they make a decision? And they're like, well, it's the law. I can't touch them. Then police won't touch them. Then police won't let you touch them. So then this is how these people just end up roaming the streets. And then they end up doing something like this. Because either they tried to get help, nobody's giving them help, nobody's taking it seriously, or, nobody's paying attention to the warning signs. Maybe he was saying for a long time he's been hearing voices. And like in our communities, we don't take mental health seriously either. Like, we need to start taking this seriously. This is a huge issue. This is a serious issue. Not everybody is mentally stable, and that's completely okay. Now, I will say, and y'all probably yell at me for this, everybody running around right now talking about that they have XYZ. The amount of people that's coming out to say, I have anxiety, I am bipolar, I have, what's the other popular one? Personality, it's not called multiple personality disorder anymore. It's called DID, dissociative disorder. The amount of people that's coming out and is doing that, or they're doing it just for like YouTube, it's sickening. It's sickening. This is pulling us back from where we need to be for people who actually have these problems. It's not something that's fun. It's not something for you to get attention. These people who actually have these problems, do you think they want these problems? No. Mental health is not something to be played around with. Whether you're doing it for YouTube, doing it for Instagram, doing it whatever, or the doctors who are not taking it seriously. This is a serious matter. And this is like, just in the past 2 weeks, the third article I've read where somebody with mental health did something tragic. And then watch, when this person gets help, he gets the medicine he needs and he comes down and he's actually lucid and he realizes what he did, he's going to be gutted. But y'all are just going to put him in prison like he was a normal person who did this, which there's no evidence pointing to that he's this kind of person. He needs to be in a mental hospital. He needs to get help. Now, if some more evidence comes out that says maybe, he was plotting this for some time, blah, 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 then I'll go with that. Right now, I'm going with the evidence that I see here. That's why I'm talking like this. It may come out and say, hey, yeah, he was a cold-blooded killer and he was plotting this to get insurance money or whatever. But as of right now, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying he was a bad kid. Everybody's shocked. And I really think this was just a case of mental health that was left untreated. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments below. Do you think this was a case of mental health, or do you think he just snapped and was like, I'm going to kill everybody, and that was it? Anyway, that is my rant, and you kind of heard me and a little bit of insight into my life and dealing with people with mental health. And I take this seriously because it is not, I've kind of talked about this before. It is not something to be fooled with. Anyways, I would like to hear from you as usual. If you want daily Kai Rants, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Love and Murder, and become a Lamb Patreon over there. You'll get ad-free and intro-free episodes, as well as daily Kai Rants, and so much more. You can also become a Lamb supporter, a premium Lamb supporter, by going to my Spreaker and subscribing to premium episodes over there, or even in Spotify. So if you didn't want to do it in Patreon, you have 2 other areas to do it. All the links are in the description below. And that's all I have for you for today's Kai Rants. I'll see you in the next rant. Bye.